So thanks for talking to DebtFreeJustice today. Really appreciate you taking your time to talk to us about your experiences.
hmm
Can I get your name and your age and where you're from?
My name is Dion Armour. I'm 14 years old and I'm from Wichita, Kansas.
Okay. And have you lived in Wichita your whole life, or have you lived in other places other than Wichita?
No, I've lived in Wichita my whole life.
Okay. Can you tell me about your first interaction with the juvenile court system?
My first interaction was last year, and it's the first time I ever got into trouble with the police and all that. I went to Jayak, and they processed me and nothing for real.
For people
They
who
just
don't know, what was the place that you named?
Jayak.
What is that place?
It's where they bring you in to book you in.
Mhm.
I just got booked in. Nothing
Okay,
further
so
than
it's not like a placement, it's just like a holder facility.
yes, that yeah.
And how was that like just talk about how you felt like being in there, like inside of it. What was it like being inside of that place?
Being inside of there, it was real cold, I guess. The people, the people in there, they was nice doing their job as they should be. I don't know much about it. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine. It just kind of like just to kind of get a sense of kind of what you were
yeah,
feeling when going through that,
it was
going
just
into it.
real cold. They don't ask you many questions. It was just I don't know.
And did you feel like you understood what was going on like during that experience or like inside of there?
Yeah, they lay it out pretty well. I mean, like, yeah, they lay it out well. They tell you, you know.
So yeah, at least they were, able to communicate effectively in there. It sounds like because a lot of places aren't able to effectively communicate to young people. So it's like good at least that part of it was, not a, extra negative experience. Like so
Yeah.
speaking towards the outcome of that situation, can you talk about that?
Um. Well, like my situation.
Yeah, just like how like what happened from going to court and stuff like that. Like what ended up happening.
I ended up getting put on probation for what happened, and when I got on probation, I had a male probation officer, and he would just have me come in and he would just talk to me about like what's going on and stuff. But then I got my probation officer switched to a girl because all the girls have the same probation officer. And her name was Tamara Hightower. She's really nice. She was a real nice woman. She didn't do her job. She didn't do her job. I'll tell you that. She was she I don't know. She'll when she gets tired of doing stuff, she'll just stop doing her job and let the kid do whatever they want to do. Like she told my mom that she was done with me and she wasn't going to help me anymore. And the probation officers are messed up for sure.
So basically they picking and choosing who they giving
Help
good
too.
good help to, and then other people is getting like a yeah, that's completely unfair.
Yeah.
So like how was it like going to schools, like being involved with the system? How was your schooling process? Like was it interrupted a lot? Were you able to still
Yeah.
stay
School
on
was
track?
interrupted at all times. School was interrupted. Well, I've been to JDF like dang near my whole 8th grade year. I was never at school. I was in JDF. And when I was at school, she would come up to the school and she was supposed to come up to the school and like see my grades and stuff, but she never looked at my grades. She just came up to the school, she seen me, and then she left.
Right.
Types. So she would only come up to my school sometimes, like I say about once or twice a month.
Mm-hmm. So were you or your parents ever asked to pay money because of your case?
Yes, I'm on an ankle monitor right now, and the ankle monitor comes with a charger. And I've lost my charger twice, and every time you want to get a new charger, you have to pay $60 to get a new charger. And my mom was like, "Well, I'm not paying $60, so how is she going to charge her bracelet? You want her to charge her bracelet, so give her a new charger." Because at the time, my mom couldn't afford to pay for that because I already lost two, so she was doubling and she wanted 120. So my mom was like, "Well, I'm not going to be able to pay for that." But luckily, I had a friend that was on probation and had another charger that I could use, because if I didn't have a charger, I was going to go back to jail.
Wow. Yeah, that's like, and what kind of charger costs $60?
It's just this little box charger.
Like, I ain't never in Five Below.
Mm-mm.
Like, even the Apple official, like, nice chargers ain't that much. So,
Yeah.
like, who says it's $60 for just the chargers? And do you have to pay like an annual amount for being on house arrest or anything? Or like, did you have to pay when you first got on?
At the end of the probation, you will have to pay all your fees and stuff. And at the end of my probation, I'm gonna have to pay for those chargers. After you have to pay for your ankle monitor that's on your leg. Like, you don't have to pay for it like every day type stuff, but like at the end of your probation, you have to pay for your ankle monitor too. You have to pay for court fees. You gotta pay for your UAs. You have to pay for a lot.
And what is it like? What was I know? Could you explain what DCF is to people? I'm sorry, I meant to ask you to do it early, just for people who don't know what it is.
What DCF is?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about Department for Children and Family Services?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's they help families.
Okay, yeah. So it's like I guess here in PA they call it DHS.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess other places it's called different things, but it's like
Yeah,
foster care.
that's where they like take your kids and stuff.
Yeah, so I was in DHS and PA, so that's like what that
Yeah,
was or whatever. Like
me
when you
too.
get taken, I was at 6 months. I was taken into I was in the house by myself, and somehow they had left the door open, and I guess the story I heard, the door was open, and I was crying, so they called the cops.
Yeah, I went there when I was 5. My mom
That
was
was
arguing with my dad, and they took me.
yeah, that's like, and then it's like they are so.
But down here, it's messed up real bad down here. Like, it could be kids that really do be needing help and they won't do nothing about it. But like kids that's like A-okay in a nice home, they'll take their kids.
Yeah, that's like that's really was like a messed up part of the system where it's like y'all don't even have enough people and resources for the people that need the help, and then they waste so much time messing with people who like actually want their kids or trying to stop people from getting their kids back that want them, and then act like they don't got money for the other kids. Like there's plenty of people who want their kids and they're trying to get their kids, and yeah, they be holding them up from it. Like
Right,
that's
and
a
there's
big
plenty of kids that do need to be took that y'all not taking.
No, listen, that right there, like, yeah, I was in the house for like a year with no electric and no gas, and I just knew I was going to get taken. I just knew somebody was going to show up one day and be like,
You're
"Wait,
coming
this
with
ain't
that."
right. This ain't right. Wait, we got to take him." I just knew it was going to happen, but it never did. So it was just like, okay, like, well, I'm gonna go and find y'all to say something? Like, no, I ain't worried about it like that. I just live my life. So back to like about the fines. Like, how do you feel about like have you worked yet or to like have you even like worked at all before to be like how does it feel to like be knowing to owe money but like how are you going about even dealing with like owing this money
Well,
and trying to pay it?
well, for starters, I'm only 14, and being 14, you can get a job, but it's really hard to get a job. Like
Mhm.
I try to get a job. I want to have a job so bad, but I just can't get a job because I'm only 14 years old. And every time I try to get a job, they're like, you're too young, you're too young. So like for me to be able, like to get a job and pay for my court fees and stuff, I'm gonna at least have to be like 15 to get a job. And my mom, she tries to tell me with like little small businesses to do, but like they never go through type stuff. So I don't know. It's real hard to find a job down here when you're 14 years old, and they want me to pay for all this. How I'm gonna pay for it? I'm only 14 years old. I ain't even have my first job yet.
And they did they ever talk to you about employment or how to get a job or getting a job or how to actually pay the money that they're asking you to pay as a 14-year-old?
All they told me is that I need to pay it. When my probation is over, you need to pay that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to me because like you don't even have any experience in the work. Like that should be a good place to y'all should have some type of job. If you're gonna ask somebody to pay some money, you should be able to refer them to some type of employment that's
Right.
gonna help them pay it because like you're not gonna just pay it with your thoughts and your wishes. Like you gotta have a job, and it's like at 14 years old, there is a very small amount of jobs that you could even get besides going to school. You might want to do like some, other like, activities
Babysitting
and
or
stuff like
something.
that. Like,
Yeah.
do you do like other, extracurricular activities outside of just like school, like this at any points, maybe like, sports or anything like that?
Sports, no, I don't really play sports.
Mhm.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, but it's still like other stuff that like just, like music or anything, just personal
Oh
interest
yeah,
type stuff.
I like to do TikToks. I like to listen to music and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just saying, talking about like trying to like having time as opposed to like leaving school and maybe having some time to do like piano lessons or something like that. You
Hmm.
really don't probably even think about that type of stuff because right now you're worried about how
Man,
to make
I
money to.
have so much to do. I have to go to therapy twice a week. I have to see these another therapy. They come to my house 3 times a week. I have to see my probation officer once a week. It's just you got to do a lot of stuff being on probation. A lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Your calendar will never ever be empty. You always have something to do every day.
So that's 4 out of 5 days, 5 school days that you're doing something related
Yes.
to the probation system after school. And
After
that's the
school
fun
at
on
four
itself.
o'clock. After school, 4 o'clock, you got to go to therapy from 4 to 6:30.
So as opposed to you doing any type of like actual extracurricular activity to like benefit yourself, you're spending all of this extra time doing what the justice system is basically telling you to do on top of
Yeah.
having to pay money. And it's like you get paid at a job for spending your time there. So it's like there's a lot to be said about the hours that you have to take. And then like how do you get to where's the therapy? Like you have to travel there. How is that?
The therapy, they come and get me. It's
Okay.
transportation, yeah.
Okay. Well, at least they do have transportation because a lot of
Mhm.
times
They
you'll be
want
expected
somebody you don't have, right. Hmm.
to just get there on your own. And it's like that's another tax. Just spending the
Yes, that's
time
a
in
lot.
itself.
I would have more to do, but my mama told my probation officer that I wasn't going to be able to do it because my mom, her schedule is full with her working. So my mom was
Yeah,
like, she's not going to be able to attend because she doesn't have transportation. If you can't give me transportation, then I can't come.
right. So can you talk about that a little bit in terms of like your mom speaking up for you in certain situations? Because a lot of people don't, that's what leads to a lot of negative outcomes too when you don't have somebody to speak up for you.
Yeah, my mama, she always tells my probation officer when she right and when she wrong. And my mama tell her that if I'm not gonna have no transportation, then I'm not gonna be able to go to places that she want me to go. And same for my bracelet. When my mama told her that my bracelet's just not gonna be charged, and if she can't give me another bracelet, she ended up giving me another charger. I meant charger. She ended up giving me another charger, and my mom kept telling her, well, then if you don't give her another charger, then she's not going to be able to charge her bracelet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's one of the more ridiculous things I done heard dealing with these people. Because even when I like being on adult probation, I was on house arrest and I wasn't required to pay like nothing for my ankle bracelet because they take it when you leave. It's not like you get to keep
Right,
it.
keep it.
So what exactly are you paying for if they taking it back?
Right, I'm paying for the bracelet. I get to keep this.
Yeah, no, they definitely took mine. It's like, well, yeah,
Right.
maybe because they didn't charge me, but I don't think they let people keep them. They still take them,
Oh,
and then they charging you for them like it's yours or something. Like it still becomes the property of them. That's crazy to me. Like how do you even have to still pay for that? Like, no, you should be able to keep that as a souvenir.
mm-hmm.
Just be able to throw it away on your own will. Like, no, I can't take this if you will make me pay for it.
Right.
So did they talk about? Well, yeah, I think you said somewhat about it. Like what did they say would happen if you didn't pay your fines? Like, and who told you? Who said that? If anybody?
I really don't know what they would do if you don't pay for it. Mm-hmm. I don't think they never ever told me what was going to happen if I didn't pay.
Just more so that you gotta pay,
Right, you
and
got to
that's
pay.
real. Yeah, that's wrong in a sense because there is something that will happen if you don't pay. They just basically didn't tell you, and that you don't necessarily know it, but they might have slid it in some
Yeah.
type of paperwork somewhere. But nobody's gonna say nothing like, "Oh yeah, if you don't pay this by this date, this is gonna happen." But they got probably something set up like that. It's just that they didn't communicate it.
Yeah, it be like also like when you go to court and stuff, like being my age young, like going to court and stuff, like you don't really be knowing what's going on. Like you just sit there until it's over, and then you would like have to ask somebody what happened because you really don't know what's going on. Like when you in there, they be using big words and you just don't know what they talking about type stuff. So you like don't know what's happening. Like when I was in jail and I came to court and they was talking and I didn't know what was going on. So when I left, I'm going back to JDF and I'm not knowing that I'm finna go home because I didn't know what they was saying. They
Yeah,
they use real big words.
yeah, and that's something to point out because like that children are only at a certain grade level and at a certain level, like that's kind of already known, but there's nothing done about like they're trying to talk to young people about
Yeah,
what's
and you
happening to
can't
them in
say
court.
nothing in there. You got to be quiet. So, cause the woman she talked for you. So like you can't ask no questions or nothing. And when
How
they
was
do
that?
ask you, do you want to say something? You be scared to say something because you in this room full with all these people, and you like, well, I don't know what you talking about.
Yeah. How was your lawyer? How was the lawyer? Were you able to talk to them before the court date? Like,
Oh yeah, my lawyer was good. Not many people's attorneys is real good. Some people attorney when they be in JDF, most of the kids attorneys don't answer. Most of theirs be most people got bad attorneys. My attorney, she was a good attorney. She was real good. But most people, they attorneys don't answer. Their attorneys don't tell them about their case or nothing.
oh man, can you talk about like how maybe some people you were talking to were new in there had some like the comparisons of like what was happening to some other people that didn't have like an attorney as good as yours?
Um, well, there's this boy, his name is Jacob, and he been in JDF for a real long time. And like he would go to court and he would come back and he would be trying to call his attorney and ask his attorney like what's going on, because the attorney know everything, like when am I gonna get out, but his attorney never answers. Like my attorney don't even answer. The attorneys don't answer the phone. They don't answer the phone at all. Like when you try to call your attorney, they just don't answer.
Yeah, that's like I definitely have never had like
Yeah, you
a
won't know
lawyer that I could
nothing
just,
about your case. You just go to court and leave.
yeah, that's not how it should be at all. That's just wrong.
Right,
So
I should be able to know about my case.
yeah, I definitely feel like it's a way that they can communicate to, especially if it's a specifically juvenile court, they
Mm-hmm.
should be able to be talking in a way that can be understood by the people that it actually concerns. Because I definitely remember being in there and they were saying like they asked me that I want to be adjudicated, and I'm like, oh, whatever.
I don't know.
Like you want to get adjudicated, okay, whatever. Like
Man, every time
that,
they ask me something, I look at my mama like,
it
what?
sounded like emancipated. I thought I was about to get out. That just it meant that I was getting sent to the county jail. I didn't know what
I'll
it
be
meant.
like,
All I knew was okay, it sounded good, and they asked if I wanted 1 or 2 or 4 to 8, and I was like, I want a 1 or 2.
right, I want 1 to 2. I want the lowest number.
It's like, come on now. I laughed like, what are y'all talking? I really did, and I didn't know that it was like in a county jail as opposed to a juvenile jail. So I got certified as an adult, and they took me to the county jail when I was 16. And I didn't know, but it was just like, even when I look back at it, I would have probably did the
Yeah,
same
that's
thing
messed
because
up that they can't take you to the county jail when you ain't even 18 yet. I think
yeah,
that's
that wasn't like looking back on it, I would have probably still did the same thing because 1 year is so much less than 4. Like it's gonna be
right.
hard for me to accept 4 years in juvenile as opposed to 1 year in adult. Like
Yeah, I would do yeah.
as much as it sucked for y'all to even give me that choice, it was like you was kind of trying to force me to do it because like I didn't understand nothing else that came along with it.
Mhm.
All I knew was that 1 to 2 over 4 to 8. But yeah, even now it would be hard to choose that
Mhm.
juvenile time. Even though like when you do a juvenile time, at least when you get older, you have a chance to like have your record still get certain types of jobs. It's like for me, once I got an adult record, I'm like X'd out of like so much stuff because I'm a felon. I can't move into certain neighborhoods because I'm a felon. They could just say, "Oh yeah, you got a felony, you can't move here." We don't
Mhm.
accept anybody with a felony in this neighborhood. So it's like that type of stuff is like just things that they never really tell you or explain to you what's happening, but they just,
Yeah, they try to hurry up and get it out there.
so how do you feel about like alternatives to paying fines? Like what are some things that could be done as opposed to paying money?
Um, First, I don't think there's nothing we should be paying for in the first place. I don't feel like we should be having to pay anything. Why am I paying to go to court? I won't go to court then. If I have to pay for it, well, why am I paying to go to court? Why am I paying for this bracelet that y'all want to put me on? I don't understand that. I feel like we shouldn't have to pay for nothing. I feel like all of that should be free because it's already been paid for. Everybody done already used it.
No, that's a great point because
What am I giving
kids
you
don't
money
have
for
money to
use
pay for
this?
this stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
And
now
it's
there
gonna
could
make
be,
kids feel like they have to do something to get some money to pay for it. We as
yeah,
kids, we can't pay for this stuff.
and that's a big thing that I can see that the system does that is not talked about. It does seem like they kind of try to make a person want to do some type of criminal behavior because
Right.
it's like even when they locked me up, I remember my bail was $50,000, and my brothers was locked up already. But I could just think that, like, imagine, me being arrested, my brothers being out, and then they hear that, oh, in order for me to get out of jail, they need $50,000. So they might have went and tried to do something crazy to get that much money
Right.
to get me out of prison, because we're all super young and none of us was aware of, just, real repercussions and things like that. And it's like, when you try to when you try to make a person pay money who can't make any money, it's like you're
Mhm.
basically telling them to make money a different way, or like some type of illegal way. And it's like, all that's going to do is push you further into the system, and it's not going to, and you're going to owe more and more fines.
Right.
So is there anything like else that you like wanted to just kind of talk about your experiences with fines, or any questions that you have about the Debt Free Justice campaign in general?
No.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you telling your story and being able to talk. A lot of times, like, one of the biggest problems with, like, the problems in the system is that those of us that go through it don't really get to express what happened, and we don't really get a platform to talk about it and let people know what's wrong with it. And we rarely really hear from the young people, like, who can't go. Like, we all know that you can't get a job at this age, but somehow a person felt like it's okay to tell you to pay money for an
Right.
ankle bracelet and money for
Yeah.
other things. So yeah, I really appreciate you
No,
coming
thank
and having
you.
this conversation with us. And if you are doing any other advocacy work, or anything else that you want us to try to highlight, please feel free to share with us, and you can send me an email and I'll try to share it with the Debt Free Justice partners, because we want to be able to continue to, help people become better advocates for themselves and other people.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.